I've been helping buyers move from the GTA to Belleville for years, and this month's numbers have a story behind them that most market updates won't tell you. This is the May 2026 Belleville and Quinte West market update. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what the numbers mean, what's driving them, and what it actually means for you as a buyer right now. First off, I have put together a free HST rebate report. Breaks all this down that we're going to be talking about in this video quite a bit. The link down in the description. And if you want to have a talk at all about anything we're talking about here, my number is also down there too. Let's get to it. Now, before I show you the numbers, I want to give you the right frame of mind for what we're about to see. So the general feeling out there, and I hear this from buyers I talk to every week, is that things seem to be just moving along. They're steady. They're not really exciting. It's not really scary, but honestly, I'd say that feeling's fairly accurate. When you look at the actual data, a few of the numbers look stronger than that feeling might suggest, and there's a reason for that gap. So let's walk through this. I've got 4 individual stats, and I'll show you what's going on kind of beneath the surface. So first up, number of sales. May 2026 came in at 169. That's the highest number we've seen in over a year, as you can see. Now, if you're watching this kind of from large areas, GTA, trying to read this market from the outside, that number might raise an eyebrow. A year ago, we were around 163. Through the winter, we dropped as low as 60, and now we're kind of back at the top. But here's the thing. Nobody here thinks the market is on fire right now. The day-to-day feeling is very steady, not frenzied. And that disconnect between the numbers and the feeling on the ground, well, that's kind of the story. A portion of those May sales were new builds. And new builds right now come with the government HST rebate. It's worth up to $130,000. That rebate is keeping a slice of the market moving that might not have moved otherwise. So if you took those sales away, we're probably looking at numbers that lean more towards a buyer's market than a balanced one. It's not a flood of rebate-driven sales, but it's kind of enough. And that distinction matters because you need to know whether the market is strong on its own or whether it's getting a little bit of help. And once you understand that, the average sale price slide is going to make a lot more sense. So here we have the average sale price. In May, it came in around $538,000. Median, around $520,000. And if you look at this chart over the course of the 12, 13 months, it's fairly flat. We're not really spiking. We're not really dropping. We're just steady. And that stability is actually good news if you're buying. But here's the part that's going to play out over the next coming months. New builds with the HST rebate are now effectively cheaper than they were 6 months ago. On a $600,000 new build, that rebate eliminates 13%, which is around $78,000 back in the buyer's pocket. Now, resale homes haven't had to compete with that kind of price advantage in years, and that we're likely to see in some downward pressure on the resale pricing as sellers try to adjust to that new reality. And now it makes sense. You'd think new builds and resale homes, they're kind of separate worlds, but here they're right down the street. They're not. And for buyers coming to this market, this is actually an opportunity. You have more negotiating room on resale than this stable price chart would kind of suggest. But here's where it gets really interesting because the inventory picture tells you exactly how much time you have to make that decision. Months of inventory is the number I pay the most attention to because it kind of tells you who has the power in this market. Now, more than 5 months, that means buyers have the upper hand. Less than 3 means sellers are kind of in control. We're sitting at 3.8 right now, right in that balance zone. And if you kind of look at the arc of that chart, we peak at 6 months over the winter. That was a genuine buyer's market for sure. Since then, it's come down steadily, and May is the lowest we've seen since last spring. Some of that tightening is because of that new build absorption that we talked about. Demand would have otherwise gone to resale. Buyers who might have been shopping resale went to the new builds because of the rebate, and they've got time to wait for them. So the resale side of the market probably isn't quite right at that 3.8 months as it would suggest kind of on its own. Now, what does that mean for you? You still have time to think. This is not a market where you need to panic buy. The buyers I'm working with right now are still finding the right home. They're not rushing, and I'm definitely not telling them to rush. Now, here's what I know works. Clear information, the right timeline, and then someone who knows this market well enough to tell you when it's the right time to move quick and when you can sit back and wait. Now, here's a number that ties all of this together because days on market tells you how fast things are actually moving once a home hits the listings. Days on market in May came in at 38 days. That's the lowest point in the last year. Back in January, we were sitting at 70 days. That was the height of the buyer's market. Homes were sitting, sellers were waiting, buyers, well, they had a lot of leverage over the winter. That number has basically cut in half since then. Homes priced right, they're moving. The buyer pool, I'd say it's fairly active, but I want to put that 38 days in perspective for you. 38 days, it's more than 5 weeks. You're not in a situation where you have to write an offer the same day you walk through a door. I sense a lot of buyers watching this, especially coming from the GTA and larger markets. They might see 38 days and might see urgency. It's not. It's health. There's a difference. The market is steady. It's moving at a pace where you can still make a smart, thoughtful decision, which is exactly what a move kind of like this deserves. One of the things I believe you deserve, especially if you're making a move this significant, is the whole picture, not just the numbers, the story behind the numbers. And the rebate that's popping up and kind of propping that part of the market, it runs until March of next year, 2027. After that, nobody knows what demand will look like without it. And resale sellers are about to face competition from new builds they haven't had to deal with in years. And that plays out in your favor as a buyer, but only if you understand kind of what's happening throughout the entire market. Now, if you are coming from the GTA and thinking about making this move, you're not too late. You're not behind. What you need is the right information. And as I mentioned, someone who knows this market well enough to give you their honest opinion on it. Now, I've talked a lot about the HST rebate. I definitely suggest grabbing that down below. The description, you'll find it. Breaks down everything we've talked about, how it works, in case you are interested in moving that direction. Now, if you want to have a real conversation about any of this, what this means for your situation, definitely call me directly. I talk to people making this exact decision every week. The conversation is always worth having. My number, it's down below in the description. Till next time.